Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Regulate Your Nervous System. I am so thrilled that you're here today. Today's episode is one of my favorites because it's a question that people ask me all the time. How is my breath, my breathing, contributing to a state of anxiety? So today's episode podcast is called Your Breath Might Be Making You Anxious, and here is how to tell. So, most people don't realize that the power of the breath can shift you from one state to another, and that the way in which we breathe contributes to whether we are creating uh, the environment within that allows for a state of anxiety to persist throughout the day. Or we can also be breathing in a way that allows for a state of calm to persist throughout the day. So today, one of the things we're going to do is I'm going to give you a breathing test so that you can actually self-assess how you're breathing. And if you do feel anxious throughout the day, to learn a little bit of the science behind it and how it's connected directly to your nervous system. And so most of us were never taught the skills how to understand that our breathing even contributes to our state of calm or anxiety. And today we're going to focus on the one thing that you do at least 20,000 times each day, and that is your breath. So today we're going to start with awareness as to how we're breathing. So what I'd like you to do is to take your right hand and place it in the area of your chest. And then I would like you to take your left hand and place it on your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is just above the belly and below the rib bones. So that's your diaphragm. And what I'd like you to do is close your eyes and just notice. Just take notice to your breath. Take notice to whether you're breathing smoothly or whether you are struggling with each breath. And I also would like you to just see if you can tell if your diaphragm is expanding and contracting during your breath, or if your heart space is expanding and contracting first. So just take a moment, close your eyes, feet straight on the ground, back straight, grounding in with your feet, and just pay attention to your normal breath, being aware. And after going through 3 to 5 normal breaths, I'd like you to take a deep breath in through the nose, hold it at the top, and exhale through the mouth. And you're going to do that 2 more times on your own, and you're going to pay close attention to whether the diaphragm is raising first or the heart space is raising first on the inhale. So let's try that. You can breathe in or in through the nose only, and you can exhale through the nose or the mouth. Try it again, and try it one more time. So if you are breathing in a way that optimizes your health, your emotional health, your physical health, then your diaphragm is raising first. So why is this important? It's important that we're not mouth breathing. Mouth breathing puts us into a state of hyperventilation, right? And that is immediately something we do in a stress response or for fight or flight. But when we are breathing in, where we're diaphragmatically breathing, we are actually activating that rest and digest response, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. But if you're panicking that, oh my gosh, I'm not breathing correctly, I'm going to give you a quick tip on how you can actually retrain your brain, which will retrain your body to optimize your breathing. We'll talk more about what optimized breathing really means for your body. So here's what you can do, just 5 minutes every day for 30 days, and you'll see that you'll slowly start to shift the way that you're breathing. And if you're feeling anxious throughout the day, you will should start to see a change and see that lessen throughout the day. So here's what you do. Instead of starting with an inhale, you start with the exhale. And when you exhale, you pull your belly in. So it's like this. And then just breathe normally. See the belly or the diaphragm expand. Exhale, it contracts. Inhale, it expands. Exhale, contracts. And so a lot of times when people are not breathing correctly for many, many years, for decades, it's really difficult to get the brain to shift. And I found with my clients that the easiest way to do this is to get them to exhale first by pulling in the belly and then inhaling normally. And just set the timer on your phone for 5 minutes a day, and you can retrain your brain and your body to start to breathe correctly. So that's the first thing that we're going to start with. We have this little breath test. We have awareness as to how we're breathing, and you have a tool that you can use each day in order to retrain. So let's talk a little bit about nasal breathing, right? If we're mouth breathing, we get activated, we get dizzy, it's fight or flight. That's what we do in fight or flight. And that activates the sympathetic nervous system right away. But when we're nasal breathing, we're actually slowing down our breath and we're activating the lower portion of the lung. In the lower portion of the lung, we have to breathe very deeply. And when we do that, it is a direct activation to our vagus nerve. So, in simplest forms, when we breathe deeply, nasal breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, it accesses the oxygen from this lower portion of the lung, and it immediately activates the rest and digest mode in our nervous system. When we are breathing in through the mouth, we're breathing shallowly. We're activating the upper lung area, and that actually is a direct connection to the sympathetic nervous system, which activates that fight or flight response. So deep nasal breathing. Now, here's a mind blow for nasal breathing. Nasal breathing, when you breathe through the nose, you are actually transferring very effectively oxygen from our lungs into our blood, right? It's exchanging into the blood. It's a vasodilator. So if you think about your vessels opening up, dilating, that means that we're getting more oxygen to our cells and tissues. We are improving our cardiovascular health, and we are lowering our blood pressure. We're lowering the stress on our heart. We are also improving our immune response. So nitric oxide allows for our body to produce antimicrobial agents, antiviral agents, and antioxidants in general in our body organically. And so that's amazing that we have the power just by shifting our breathing to produce more nitric oxide. Another thing that increased nitric oxide does in our body is it increases our stamina and endurance, and it promotes better learning, clarity, better focus, and better short-term memory. So that is a boost just in our daily activities. Another thing that increased nitric oxide does in our body is it changes our production of hormones. So it reduces cortisol, reduces adrenaline, and it also promotes better sleep by reducing snoring and allows for the brain to prepare for more restorative sleep. When your cortisol levels are reduced, that means that you are providing the correct conditions for melatonin to increase, especially when we need it in the evening, to allow for deep restorative sleep. Restorative sleep so that our cells and tissues are restoring while we're sleeping. And so, one of the things that the increased nitric oxide does as well is at the mitochondrial level in our cells, which is the powerhouse of our cell, it allows for optimal efficiency of ATP production, which gives us energy. And it also allows for glucose regulation support in our bodies. So if you're struggling with type 2 diabetes, it can really help you with glucose regulation. And the last thing that it does is nitric oxide also aids in fat reduction in the body. Oh my gosh, just from the increase of 15% of nitric oxide production by nasal breathing does all of these things for your body. So, in summary, the vasodilator, right? So it improves our efficiency for cardiovascular. It improves our immune response in our body. It helps with cognition, and it also helps in regulation of hormones in our body for many different optimal functions. So that's pretty amazing. And that's not all. Just the benefits alone by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, that rest and digest is thus just that. It allows for restoration and it allows for our digestion to work optimally, and it keeps us calm, right? It keeps us in this calm space where we're able to focus, able to operate, and have creative thought and productivity in our day. So, when we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, we are truly activating the pharmacy within. And it's kind of like driving a car. If you think about our nervous system as driving a car, so the sympathetic nervous system is like putting your foot on the gas pedal. It drives energy, right? We get a lot of energy, and sometimes that's not a bad thing. But when it turns to chronic sympathetic nervous system activation, that's when we're in overdrive and we're feeling anxious and we're feeling scattered and we're having difficulty focusing and we're having difficulty settling in. But if we think about the parasympathetic nervous system as like putting on the brake, the parasympathetic nervous system allows us to slow down and operate in a way that's truly aligned to who we are. And so the goal is to be able to slow down with ease and control. And when I say activating the pharmacy within, we have the power. You have the power to shift your state through the power of your breath. And it's not that you can't access it, you can. We've just never been taught how. And so if you stick with these podcasts, you will slowly learn all of these different techniques so that you can take control of your state and shift your state anytime you want in a matter of minutes through the power of breathing. And that brings us to our next episode, which I just love to talk about, and it's called Activating the Pharmacy Within. And what we'll learn is that through rhythmic breathing, we can create this heart brain coherency. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about that and then why that helps us to optimize our health each and every day through the power of our breath. So, my call to action to you for this week is awareness again, awareness on how you are actually breathing. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it strained? Is it smooth? And is it deep? Is it diaphragmatic or is it coming from the heart space? One of the other things I really would love for you to do is I invite you to really pay attention to how you're breathing when you're walking. When you're walking, are you breathing through the mouth? Because immediately, as soon as you start to recognize that, and you know that just to close your mouth and inhale through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth or the nose, you're slowing the breath down. And the goal really is to have 5 to 6 breaths per minute. And if you're not doing that now, don't worry. Just keep practicing and practice the breathing where you're exhaling first, pulling the belly in, and then allowing the inhale to restore naturally as the belly expands. And that will be the best thing for you to start to retrain your brain, to retrain your body for optimal health. So I have one more thing that I would love for you to do. If this podcast resonated with you, follow, subscribe, share it with people so that this information gets into the hands of the people who need it the most. You can follow me on social media and find me as Maria Brown Breathwork, Serenity Wellness and Coaching, or Flow State Art by Maria. And you can also email me if you have questions, Maria at serenitywellnessandcoaching.com. And if you have a group or an organization that you would love for me to come talk to, I love speaking with groups. I love working with groups. I love the aha moments when people really start to feel the difference. And I look forward to working with you in the future. So always remember that you can come back to any state of calm when you would like to. Slow down, close your eyes, breathe, and just let peace be your guide. And remember, the breath is the fastest way of easing off the gas pedal. So until next time, allow your nervous system regulation to be the gift you give to the world. I'll see you in the next episode.